I gotta be honest with you guys, one of the games that is the most rumored-filled game out there right now that we have been talking about, aside from Dragon Age the Veilguard, has to be Ghosts of Yotei. It has to be, right? Like, Ghosts of Yotei has so many rumors surrounding it, and a lot of it's coming from Endymion and his supposed inside source, but overall, it's been absolutely insane, the discussion that's happening around Ghosts of Yotei. Well, apparently, there's another rumor, because why not? Let's just throw in another one in there, right? Apparently, Ghosts of Yotei, the entire team and the entire project around Ghosts of Tsushima 2 had been completely scrapped from the ground up, just so that they can utilize it to do Ghosts of Yotei and put the female protagonist ATSU into the game. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, these are all just rumors, and ultimately, you got to take it with a grain of salt. But what I will say is it does spark conversation, which is what I enjoy. It sparks conversation over what's happening with Ghosts of Yotei, and ultimately, why would a company decide to go with something like Ghosts of Yotei when they had such a mega banger known as Ghosts of Tsushima? That game was an absolute fucking hit. And then on top of that, too, Assassin's Creed Shadows was failing so miserably that it was putting even more spotlight on Ghosts of Tsushima. They could have easily capitalized on this and ran with it and made an ungodly amount of money, but they decided to double down and make something called Ghosts of Yotei, completely and utterly shocking the entire gaming landscape. So let's get into this article, guys, from That Park Place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So it says a new rumor alleges that Suckerpunch Studios, the developers of Ghosts of Tsushima and the upcoming Ghosts of Yotei, gutted and repurposed a planned Ghosts of Tsushima sequel and created Ghosts of Yotei out of its bones. Now, that does sound pretty probable. The only reason why I say that is because if you look at some of the trailer and you look at some of the footage that was shown for Ghosts of Yotei, it looks damn near like Ghosts of Tsushima, even though it takes place in a completely different area and landscape. It still looks heavily, eerily similar to Ghosts of Tsushima's environment, and you wonder how is that possible when it's in a completely different area. But besides that, I think that that is actually pretty much the most probable thing to be true out of everything that you've heard so far about Ghosts of Yotei, about the fact that they decided to maybe have a sequel at some point, and then they gutted it and decided to turn it into an anthology series, which again is highly controversial for a lot of people who were big fans of the first game. I myself, like I say in every video, was a huge fan of the first game. Obviously, I wanted to see continuation of Jin Sikai's story. I don't know of anybody that was thinking of Ghosts of Tsushima 2 and thinking, yep, we're totally going to get a female protagonist set 300 years in the future. That's exactly what's going to happen. Nobody thought that. Even the shills out there that are trying to pretend like now that it has a female, it's the most amazing game ever, even they didn't even think that was going to happen. And they're being extremely disingenuous by pretending as if they saw this coming, that this was going to become an anthology series. Nobody saw that coming. This latest rumor comes from Endymion, who first shared that a source informed him that Sony Japan is pissed off about being kept in the dark over the sudden changes of the game's narrative. He added, it doesn't seem there is a huge disconnect between what Sucker Punch knew about this Ghost sequel versus what Sony's PR team knew. Next, as he shared, as I was told before when I reported on Yotei last, the game was indeed supposed to be Ghosts of Tsushima 2 with Jin Sikai as the main character. This has been confirmed to me by at least a few sources, and I was told the skeleton of Tsushima 2 is what is largely being used to create Yotei into what it is now. I would assume that likely Jin would come to Mount Yotei, and then this is where he would be facing the next Mongol threat. But within the past 2 years, something has definitely changed at Sucker Punch. He continued their entire narrative was effectively gutted from what I'm being told and repurposed into a story about Atsu. Now, as you've seen in the trailer, the whole wandering Ronin being hunted by other bounty hunter story that's presented in Yotei, I am assuming was originally supposed to be Ronin hunting Jin Sikai as the ghost. Now, that would make the most sense logically in terms of the story. Unfortunately, it seems like we're not going to get that. Unfortunately, it seems like we are getting an anthology series, which is nothing different from what Assassin's Creed does, but still, Assassin's Creed is Assassin's Creed. Doesn't mean Ghosts of Tsushima had to be the same exact exact thing. Ghost was perfectly fine being its own thing. And Jin Sikai was a character that a lot of people got behind. A lot of people love the story from the original game. Why are we changing it up and putting ATSU in this? I have no fucking idea. Just like I would be curious as to why we are changing it up and putting anybody in here. When people are asking for Jin Sikai, people are asking for a continuation of his story. And now we know that we're never going to get it, which is highly, highly sad when you think about it. Then it says Endymion then shared information provided to him by his source regarding a number of individuals who joined Suckerpunch around the last 2 years or so. First, he pointed to Jen Lee Lucen, who began work at Suckerpunch in March 2022 as a producer. He also pointed to Ariana Martinez, a senior writer and narrative designer for Suckerpunch, who joined the company in May of 23. He also pointed to Courtney Woods. Isn't it ironic that he's pointing to all females? Isn't that ironic? Like all the problem hires, or all the ones that look like they're going to be problem hires are all mostly female, which is insane, but not too shocking when you really think about it, because that's usually the ones who push this nonsense. Apparently, Courtney Woods joined Suckerpunch as a senior writer in September of 22. Finally, he pointed to Kelly Snyder, another woman, who became a senior producer in Suckerpunch in 23. Given when these individuals joined the company, Endymion stated, as you'll notice, as I show these other examples, these writers and such, they all came onto the project rather late in production on Yotei, almost as if the game was something else entirely before it became Yotei. On top of all this information, Endymion also shared that Sony is currently deciding what to do with the price of Yotei and how to promote the game going forward. As I was told, currently Yotei is being considered at Sony to be pushed as a spin-off title in the Ghost series instead of a mainline game. This was not the original plan, as I've been told, however. The game was meant to be the next de facto installment and the direction Suckerpunch was going to take this game series. I would think it would be really weird if they decided to try to turn the one with ATSU into some sort of side story, because then you're essentially admitting that nobody wanted ATSU, right? You're essentially admitting that everybody wants Jin Sikai, and what you're doing right now should be considered a side story with a character who should be considered a side character, right? It just doesn't make any sense to me. I feel like if you're going to double down and do this, if you're really going to put a female main lead in a Ghost of Tsushima game, then you need to just make it a mainline game. Do exactly what you're doing. Ghost of Yotei, Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of whatever, Mount whatever, I don't know, figure it out. But if you're going to do an anthology, then just do an anthology at the end of the day. But again, I don't know, man. This whole thing just seems so ridiculous. It seems like these people don't understand what it means to just continue with the flow of business, right? If business is booming and you got people loving your game, and Ghost of Tsushima was revived in conversation when Assassin's Creed Shadows flopped for everybody to see and had to be delayed, people were going to go buy Tsushima because it was the better overall representation of Japanese samurai. It was a lot better of a story, a lot better gameplay, and a lot more true to what you would expect from that kind of location and setting. But when it came to Assassin's Creed Shadows, unfortunately for them, with delaying it, that did put Tsushima in the spotlight, and Tsushima ran with it in the other direction, right? Instead of going in the direction they're supposed to that would benefit them, they decided to say, hold up, wait a minute, we know you're all mad at Assassin's Creed Shadows, but listen, we got something cooking for you. I know you want Jin Sikai, you little fuckers, but listen, we're actually going to give you someone called ATSU. Yeah, and it's going to be 300 years in the future, so you can't even complain or even think about Jin Sikai showing up in the game, because he's going to be dead, right? He's going to be completely dead at the age of time, right? But when it comes to ATSU, we're going to push her. We're going to push her, and we're going to make her into a thing, and you're going to love her. And then she's going to get the actual part 2. Yeah, not Jin Sikai. She's going to get the part 2 after you're forced to try to buy her game and basically, you know, eat it up. So at the end of the day, man, Suckerpunch made a weird decision. Very weird business decision. And again, I want to reiterate, just because of the female don't mean fuck all to me, because I'm telling you right now, if they announced Ghost of Yotei and decided to put a dude in it, I'd be like, why the fuck are we not getting Jin Sakai's second story? Why are we getting an anthology series? It makes absolutely no sense. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.